Oh, there's a fish. Fish, fish, fish. Oh, God. There we go, there we go. Oh, I scared her. Oh, I scared her so bad. All right, good morning, guys. This is Haight's Wanderings, along with, you guys remember Sean? He's been in a lot of my videos. He's a good fisherman, and hopefully he's going to catch some muskie while we're on our introduction this morning. So we are fishing a very, very small creek river system today, and we're fishing for muskie. We were going to go for trout, but the wind, too much wind, and we decided let's go for muskie instead. The spot I'm in right here looks like it's like a little pool, but we just came through a section of water that was like maybe 15 feet across, something like that. It was
not even 10.
Maybe 10 feet. So it would be tricky getting a kayak through. Definitely getting a canoe through would be tricky where we started. But as we progress today, the water's going to get deeper. The water's going to get a little bit wider, quite a bit wider. And we are going for muskie, pike, really anything that bites, but probably muskie is what we're fishing for today. We get one fish, it's going to be a good day. But it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful right now. We got some fall colors, and fall colors and muskie, they just go together. They're like, what is it?
Carrots.
Huh?
Peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots, like peas and carrots. I'm not really sure peas and carrots go together. I was thinking more like mashed potatoes and gravy, but you know, peas and carrots. All right, guys, we are going to get rolling. There's probably going to be some pretty cool drone shots coming at you guys right now. Hopefully some epic muskie shots as well if we caught a fish, which who knows, we might. All right, let's get going. Catch, release, wander. All right, guys. Boom.
What are you talking about? Peas and carrots?
Dude, peas and carrots don't go together. Oh, big one, big one, big one. She's still there. She's still out. She's still on it. She's still on it. Oh, big one, big one. Big one. Sweetie. Yay, we caught a fish! Yay, we caught a fish! He's like a hellhound. Oh, dude, big one, big one, big one. There we go, there we go. Alright, hey there guys, this is Haight's Wanderings. This video is an early fall musky jaunt in the Northwoods. We got out there, we had fun, we moved a lot of fish, and the two that we caught were petite. I gotta be honest, they were small muskies, but one was a tiger, one was a pure strain. Really, really cool, fun fishing. Moved some nice ones, but you know, you don't always get those big ones, are sometimes a little bit more hard to find. I'm going to be talking here in the background, and I want some cool footage to be going on while you guys are listening to me ramble. So I will tell you a little bit about the lures that we had success on that day, and I'll just kind of give you maybe a play-by-play as to how it went down. So the two lures that we actually caught fish on that day, one of them was this thing right here. Can you see that all right? This is a Musky Killer Fire Tiger. It's a small lure, but we were fishing in really, really shallow waters, and every single cast we were picking up just tons of vegetation, and so something small that we could kind of, you know, get across the surface quick ended up being something useful. Another lure right here that we did all right with, multiple bites on this, but I never actually hooked up. This right here, oh, there's a fish,
is a
fish.
size 8 Boilermaker, significantly larger than a Musky Killer, as you can see. This had a lot of action. I just couldn't hook up with those fish. Another lure we were fishing with, I don't even know what this is, to be honest. I don't know what its name is, but it's a double willow leaf. There's a stinger hook on here with a fairly long extended tail. And the reason I was using the spinnerbait is, again, there was so much vegetation. Where we were fishing was super shallow and vegetation everywhere, and every single cast we were getting veg. Once we found a little bit deeper water, I had an additional 3 other lures that we had bites on. This right here, this is a super small glide bait. But I found that smaller muskie key in on this frequently. So this is an ICBM. Really enjoy this lure. You can cast it a country mile. After that, I had this guy right here that I was using. This is a Lee Lures Death Paws Minnow. Really enjoyed this bait. Actually, just like a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, I went out again and 3 bites on this with a nice fish hooked up. Couldn't get a single one of them into the boat though, but really, really cool action on that Death Paws Minnow. And the bait that we actually did get the tiger muskie in on was this guy right here. This is a mini Medusa. For the fish that we're targeting, it's not too small. Like I'm not targeting, 55-inch fish or something. So this size bait is kind of perfect. I really, really like this guy. Constant retrieve or pull pause, whatever it is that you want to do. This guy got smashed. So jumping into these video clips, the day was beautiful, great fall colors. Never been to that spot before, so I didn't really know what to expect. The Google Maps showed it being, a fairly small river that then in the last mile or so opens up into a wider area, but a pretty small river system. So getting to the spot, I realized that the raft was maybe a bit too big. We had to go under trees. We had to go over beaver dams, completely pick the raft up over them. 10 feet of width, probably at the smallest, most narrow spot. Extremely narrow. But I found some holes in the upper part of the river that I looked at them and I said to myself, I think there are muskie in there in the summertime. I would not be at all surprised if the fish move farther up in the summer and then they drop back, maybe to some of the slightly deeper holes in the fall/winter season. I don't know for sure. I have to give it a little bit more exploration, but I think it's going to be a really cool spot for future shenanigans. We didn't move many fish in the upper river until we passed a beaver dam, and I'm not quite sure if the beaver dam was acting as a barrier. It was fairly significant. Probably when the water is higher, the muskie could go around it, but with lower water, the beaver dam was probably a impassable barrier. It kind of depends. It all depends on water flow, because with more water flow, the fish can obviously get to, a lot of different places. We've had low water in the Northwoods this summer, so potentially it was a fairly significant barrier for them. As I had mentioned earlier, the grass was out of control. Every single cast we were dealing with grass. So we kind of pushed through some areas, and on every bend of the river, we had deeper waters. So we'd have these long, shallow, narrow stretches, and then there'd be a bend in the river, and it would open up into a deeper cut around the bank, which is typical for a river system. And we would target our fishing in those bends, and we ended up, I think, moving 7 fish that day. Quite a few bites. Just didn't capitalize on those bites. As you can see, I have a new part to my raft in the front. There's actually a standing platform, and it was awesome. The standing platform allowed for one of us to be up in the front, get a really, really great view of fish that we're following in, and it was a lot easier to do a figure 8 up in the front in that standing platform. Unfortunately, again, we didn't get any of those fish to bite on the figure 8, but there were quite a few. I mean, I had a couple that followed in on the ICBM. I had one that followed in on the Mini Medusa, and that went all the way around the figure 8 or the loop. Sometimes I just do a loop, but they didn't bite, unfortunately. Everything about that day was pretty great, except for the wind. The wind was probably blowing at 20 miles per hour, and it was kind of out of control. It was so intense that we were having trouble rowing against it.
It's windy, man.
Thankfully, it was mostly at our back, but what happened is the river was snaking around, and so every time we kind of did a snake, we would then go straight into the wind for 100 yards or so, and then we would turn and we'd go with the wind. And so if we were going into the wind, it was pretty beastly. Sean was on the oars for most of those sections, and so props to you, Sean. Thank you for rowing me along. we had fun. It was beautiful. It was a new spot of water, and we caught fish. So really, everything turned out to be a great day.
I don't know why, but I felt a muskie right there, like on that cast. It just felt fishy.
I did end up getting out with Sean again a little bit later in the year, and I got out with another friend, Corey, and we ended up catching. We got another muskie a little bit later in the season once the leaves were actually falling, and on that day, that's when I was using that Death Paws minnow, and I did well. I did really well on it. He ended up actually catching his fish on a size 18 Rapala, I think, in chartreuse and white potentially. He really loves using Rapalas for trout, and he bought a oversized one for muskie, but he had never caught one on it until that day. So it was a really kind of cool fish. Really enjoyed this season, this fishing season, and snow is coming fast, and it's going to be here. So I'll probably do a couple of more videos this fall, maybe. Maybe I'll try to catch some lake run fish. But mostly we are going to be making videos from all of the footage I took this summer. So be on the lookout for some cool stuff coming to you guys. And with that being said, I think we are done here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the drone shots. I know there were a lot of them. It was simply so beautiful, and there's not a whole ton of fish video, but that's okay. All right, guys, thank you so much. And as always, catch, release, wander. I'll see you guys in the next one.